All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go, baby. Here we go. Next week, Monday night. This is for all the marbles. This is for all the tea in China. You know what I'm referring to. The 2021 College Football Playoff National Championship game to end the 2020 season between the Alabama Crimson Tide and the Ohio State Buckeyes. This is the game preview touchdown. Alabama Magazine, yours truly, Stephen M. Smith, breaking down the information for you right here, right now. The matchup set for Hard Rock Stadium in Miami Gardens, Florida. 7 p.m. Central Time kickoff. ESPN will have the call on the matchup. And for head coach Nick Saban, Alabama head coach Nick Saban going after national championship number 7 in his tenure. This would put him over the legendary Paul W. Bear Bryant. This is a huge moment for Coach Saban as he looks to have his second perfect, undefeated, untied season, joining the 2009 campaign where the Crimson Tide went 14-0, winning the SEC title and winning a BCS national championship. Huge moment here for Coach Saban. He's locked in, he's focused, he's ready to get that done. And one of the biggest helpers to Saban this season has been this explosive Alabama offense operated by one Steve Sarkisian. This is an Alabama team offensively that's scored 48.2 points per game. The most of the Saban era, has averaged 535 yards offensively per game, the most of the Saban era. Alabama's put up at least 40 points in 10 games this season, and under the leadership of Steve Sarkisian, you look at Mac Jones, the first 4,000-yard passer of the Saban era, 4,036 yards, 36 touchdown passes, just 4 interceptions, but not just in the passing game. How about the balance that Alabama has created in both the run and passing attack? In the ground game, you've got Najee Harris, 1,387 yards, 1,387 yards rushing, 24 rushing scores to lead all backs in college football. Devontae Smith, the young man who picked up the Heisman Trophy, among other awards this season, 105 catches, 1,641 yards receiving, 20 touchdowns to lead all of college football in all 3 of those categories. And even John Mechie, 47 catches for 835 yards and 6 scores. The question will be, as it's good on good, best on best between Alabama and Ohio State, can Bama dominate this Ohio State defense? The Buckeyes, they've got pass rushers up front. They've got guys in the linebacking core that can go from sideline to sideline. And in the secondary, they're in line Sean Wade, one of the big-time defensive backs. Can this Alabama defense dominate Ohio State, stay ahead of schedule, quickly get points on the scoreboard, and impose its will on this Buckeye team? That's going to be fun to watch here in this matchup. Defensively, though, for the Crimson Tide, here's the game right here. As I mentioned, good on good, best on best. Both teams excited for this matchup. Ryan Day is one of the best offensive-minded head coaches in college football, but he's going up against a defense in Alabama under Pete Golding that is clicking at the right time, especially when it comes down to that pass rush. Alabama 34 sacks on the season. 29 of its 34 sacks have come since the Georgia game. You look at Will Anderson, the phenomenal freshman 5-star, 7 sacks on the season. Christian Barmore has 7 sacks to his own credit. Both of those two tied for the team lead where Alabama is concerned. They're also tied for the SEC lead as well when it comes to sacks. Christopher Allen, the unsung hero of the pass rush, he's got 6 sacks this year. Christian Harris has 4.5 sacks to his own credit. Here's the big thing right here, people. Justin Fields, despite how talented he is, despite how dynamic he is as a dual-threat quarterback, Justin Fields has been sacked almost the most times by any of the 4 quarterbacks in or that were involved in the college football playoff. When you look at Ian Book of Notre Dame, Mac Jones of Alabama, Trevor Lawrence of Clemson, and of course Fields himself of Ohio State. Despite Fields playing in only 7 games this season, the least amount of the quarterbacks in the playoff, he's been sacked 20 times. This offensive line of Ohio State has had a difficult time protecting its quarterback. And if you go back and you watch the tape against Northwestern and Indiana, in those two games combined, 8 of the 20 sacks of Justin Fields took place in those two games. And with the pressure that Indiana and Northwestern were able to get to him, Fields tossed 5 interceptions. 5 of his 6 picks came in both of those two matchups. So for the Alabama defense, can it affect Justin Fields in the pocket consistently, constantly throughout this game? When you look at a Christian Barmore, who's playing his best football, when you look at a Will Anderson, that's on a tear this year, and then the likes of Christopher Allen and Christian Harris that can both get to the quarterback, going to be huge here for the pass rush when you look at the Crimson Tide. When you dive into other parts here of this game where this matchup is concerned for Alabama also, it's got to stop the run. It's got to fit its gaps. When you look at Trey Sermon, the young man who transferred in from Oklahoma, now he had a difficult start to the season trying to get going, but since he's gotten going, Trey Sermon, 115 carries for 868 yards, 4 touchdowns. He's averaging 124 yards per game. For Alabama, got to get that penetration up front before he gets going, getting up and down the field, running north and south, hitting the holes and bouncing plays outside. But along with that, the outside weapons for Ohio State. When you look at Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, and at the tight end position, Jeremy Ruckert. All 3 of these guys, dangerous weapons here. Ruckert at tight end has 5 touchdowns this season. Chris Olave is the big-time target of Justin Fields, 42 catches, 660 yards, 7 scores. And of course, Garrett Wilson, 40 catches for him, 673 receiving yards, and 5 touchdowns. The Alabama secondary got to be on its P's and Q's in this matchup here against the Buckeyes. But this is going to be a fun game, exciting game, jam-packed matchup, good on good, best on best, winner take all here for the national championship of college football. Now, of course, the line on this game is between 7 to 8 points in favor of the Crimson Tide. I got Alabama covering this matchup. It's going to be a good game, highly contested, but I got the Crimson Tide covering the 7 to 8 point spread, giving Coach Saban his 7th national championship and the Crimson Tide as a whole its 18th title in school history. But folks, Alabama, Ohio State, Monday night next week, January 11th, Hard Rock Stadium, Miami Gardens, Florida, 7 p.m. Central Time kickoff. ESPN will have the call for the game. For all of us here at Touchdown Alabama Magazine, I'm yours truly, Stephen M. Smith. Enjoy the football between Bama and Ohio State.